Hello, and welcome to another fun-loving episode of the Hellion Rebellion Rock and Roll Association. Welcome, associates. Nice to see you this week. You know what we do? We lost a rock and roll soldier this week. Kind of a big one. This week we lost Rick Buckler, drummer of one of the most famous, UK 77 punk rock bands, The Jam. So before we get started with our show, let's go ahead and do a moment of silence for The Jam's Rick Buckler. Okay. May Rick Buckler find jamming beyond the pearly gates of heaven to be comfortable. He's no longer in a town called Malice, and that he's gonna be missed. And for all you kids out there who might be new to the punk rock thing, The Jam is one of those groups that you really need to listen to. Again, UK 77, and I've always kind of compared him to Elvis Costello for some reason. I don't know why, but if you like all that stuff, you'll like The Jam. So we are nearing Mardi Gras season, and maybe I should have waited to do this show later, but I don't really do theme shows, so I was just thinking about it, and I'm thinking about the state of the world and how antagonistic it is, and you still can't squash my excitement for what I consider one of the most decadent, as well as one of the most holiest of times of the year, and that's the Mardi Gras season. And I'm going to do that by showcasing one of my favorite forms of music. A lot of people might not know this about me, but I absolutely love Zydeco music and Cajun music. So a quick little history on the two. There is a difference between Cajun music and Zydeco music. Cajun music is very traditional. It's very country. To the point where they even play songs, folk songs from the nation of France. It's very country and strange, but they do. Cajuns originally came out of Canada. They speak a form of Canadian French, and but if you were from, let's say, Quebec, which I think is the last big stronghold of French speaking Canadians. In fact, I think that's still their first language in that part of Canada. And you came to Louisiana and heard a Cajun or Creole person, you might not understand what they're saying. And God help you if you're actually from France, because you probably really won't understand what they're saying, other than the fact that they're speaking French. So there's that. Cajun music hasn't really evolved a whole lot. By the 1980s, Cajun music, you start seeing electric guitars, electric bass, amplification, speakers. But you don't really see them moving beyond the traditional Cajun sound, the Cajun aesthetic. Maybe you might hear a few bluegrass songs or country songs. Zydeco music is even though it's very similar to Cajun music, it really has evolved. And Zydeco music comes from the Africans who were being shipped over to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. They're bringing their African rhythms and their music with them. They're learning the sounds of the Caribbean, and then they're being forced into the United States and into New Orleans, because that was your big port for slave trade, that sort of thing. And they're being introduced to Cajuns and Cajun music. So they're picking up Cajun music, but they're also bringing that Caribbean sound with them, the African sound with them, and depending on where you are in the state of Louisiana, you're probably going to get a lot of Spanish, a lot of Mexican influence as well. The Creole people mixed with a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures, including Mexicans, American Indians, that sort of thing. So Zydeco music actually they rely really heavy on bass and drums. They put a lot of importance on the rhythm, the funk, and over time, Zydeco music has really become electric. It's not uncommon to go to a Zydeco festival and hear a Zydeco band play or cover Jay-Z or Lil Wayne, or even pop stuff like Michael Jackson or Maxwell, as well as some newer music, original music that they're playing that kind of has a pop or funk feel to it. I remember seeing a group. I think they were the New Breeds. They were kind of big in the 90s. Uh, God, they started, I think they were playing Parliament or something, and I'm just like, are these dudes, is that Sly? Is that Sly Stone? Is that George Clinton? Is that what they're doing? Of course, they're Zydecoing it up, with the accordion and the upswing on the guitar. Again, there's that weird ska almost feeling to it. So that's really the big difference between Cajun and Zydeco music. Um, I'm not going to go into the history of a lot of these people and all that. And I mean, it goes deep. It goes down deep to even the food that they're eating. Like there's a big difference, or not a big difference, but there is a difference between Creole food or Creole gumbo versus Cajun gumbo, and a tomato roux versus a flour roux. So it's just go read some history about it. It's a fascinating history. Cajun history is very fascinating. Um, I grew up around a lot of these people, and even though I don't speak Spanish or French, um, I do know certain phrases and certain exclamations and things like that. There's certain things they say I still I know exactly what they're saying. And even when they speak English, the accents are so thick that I really don't need subtitles, because I do understand them when they speak English. But I've always thought it was funny when you watch those Cajun shows where like the swamp people are, hunting alligators, and they got that really thick accent. It's like they have subtitles. And I'm like, I don't need the subtitles. I grew up around those people. So talk about your immigrants, right? All right. So one of my all-time favorite Zydeco musicians, um, and I'm a little biased here, is this musician here is Queen Ida and her Zydeco band. Queen Ida would originally come from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I kind of grew up near there. So that's probably why I'm biased, and I've heard a lot of Queen Ida in my life. Her family were, I almost want to say they were, her parents, I think, were sharecroppers or something in the rice paddies of Louisiana. But they were a big musical family, and they'd eventually moved to Beaumont, Texas. And this is where she's going to get a lot of her, she's going to get a lot of her chops learning from her mother and her father and her brother. This is also where she's going to get a lot of the caliente, the Spanish influence in her music. And then I guess the music scene wasn't too hot in Beaumont, Texas, so they would eventually move to San Francisco, where they would become a fixture in the music scene over there during the 50s and the 60s. Queen Ida wouldn't really start her own band until the early 70s. I'm going to go ahead and say 71, 72. And originally she was known as Queen Ida and I think the Bon Tomps, or Queen Ida and the Bon Tomp Band or something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and speculate here, but I have a feeling that she changed her name to Queen Ida and her Zydeco band, because I bet you people in San Francisco or California in general didn't really know the difference between Zydeco and Cajun music. And again, even though these groups of people they love each other, they respect each other, they do like to differentiate who they are. Another similarity is that when you are in a Zydeco band or a Cajun band, the accordion player is the leader. I don't care, you might not even be singing, but if you're the accordion player, you are leading the band. Everybody's following the accordion. And what's interesting about Queen Ida is that she would be the very first female to lead a Zydeco band. So there's a little women's history, women's lib for you. She was breaking gender rules back in the 70s, much like Joan Jett or somebody, you know. But she was doing it with Zydeco music. What else do I have to say? She would be active all the way until the early 2000s. Probably I'm going to go ahead and say 2008 or something. Once in a while you'll see her come up on stage with somebody else and she'll do a song, but other than that she was pretty much retired by then. She is still alive, still living in San Francisco, and if I was going to wager a guess, Queen Ida has got to be 98, 97. I mean, she's probably damn near 100 years old. So that's all I have to say about Queen Ida and her Zydeco band. How about we go ahead and check out the music? I may play 2 songs, I don't know yet. So there you go. Queen Ida and her Zydeco band. Sacre Bleu. That is beautiful music. Absolutely love it. You hear the bass, you hear like that rock steady sort of thing that they do. Um, and on a side note, for all you rock and roll historians out there, Jimi Hendrix almost chose the accordion over the electric guitar because of Zydeco music. As how much he liked that instrument and that style of music. Um, thank the Lord that he picked the electric guitar. But other than that, I love this. I can't wait for Mardi Gras season to be here, and hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Oh, and I'm close to 400 subscribers. Get me 4 more, I'll do a show without sunglasses on. All right, later.